Well, I'm back. For some reason, the picture froze, and I have no idea what happened. But I'm back. Um, how can a person still be as excited as I am about gardening, and they've been doing it so many years? It's because gardening, you never know quite what you're going to get until you get it. It is definitely a win-win situation. When you're growing your own food, you feel empowered, and that's for sure. So that being said, I like to grow my own food. Um, it's fun. Um, we are having a situation where I was contemplating whether or not I want to put seeds in the ground. I mean, seeds in tonight for uh, for a situation where I can definitely grow some of my foods, get them started. It's still kind of cold here. Let me give you an example. The temperature here right now is 51 degrees at night. That's pretty good. But we look at the weather forecast, we find that um, it just looks really good. It really looks good from what's going on. I'm enjoying just seeing the plants grow. I see fruit look good to me. People sending me information coming from my own video I put up earlier. Oh, this is really great. Now, I don't understand why this internet is slow like it is. We just got this service. But I'm still satisfied. It still does a good job. Mm. Yeah, for some reason it looked like it froze on my end. I don't know if it froze on the other end as well, but it froze. I was like this, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it did that. Um, okay, it did freeze on the end. Laugh out loud. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be yeah, as Ray Charles would have said. Um, but I think that we're back online, and that's really good. Um, and you said something before I left. It was about corn growing uh, peaches and cream, which I was saying that it is a hybrid, and if I grew it, I could grow it from a cob, a dried cob. And I remember once saving the seeds, and I gave up the seeds because I said, wait a minute, these are hybrids. Yes, dry the cob, corn cob. Because if that's the case, I'll try it. I'll try it because just plant it. Plant the whole cob? No. Okay. Okay. I got it. I got you now. Remove the seeds from the cob and plant the seeds. Interesting. That's interesting. That I can do. But I tell you, I know that uh, everything on earth, when you plant corn, everything wants to eat it. Uh, Rodents, birds, raccoons, everything wants to eat it. Um, my neighbor is to dry the cob with seeds, and when dried, brush off the seeds with your fingers. Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did. So now I know it can be saved. Thank you. Thank you, Food Farmers. I appreciate that, because I think it's sad to have to go out every year, and if you find a stock that's growing the perfect corn you like, and then you go out and grab something else, even though it says peaches and cream, you want really something that is somewhat has been in your soil, that is something that will uh, will grow better with the way that you're handling it, because everything that you're doing in the soil that you planted in, it's not like it's got to adjust to the soil and then start growing. If the genetics of the seed itself is from that soil as well, so that'd be a better deal. I appreciate that. Yeah. Oh, okay. You go for okay, organic farms. Yeah. Well, you know, I've always considered myself to be a person that grows organically. And the reason why I say that is because um, the I don't add chemicals. I simply put the seed in the ground. I done got so bad now, I don't even dig anymore if I don't have to. I don't dig. I just simply, there's a soil. Okay, okay, it'll taste good. Thank you, thank you. Um, but when I grow um, a seed, I lay it on top and I cover it with um, wood chips that you said to me, and which I like that idea that you gave me. Um, let the wood chips sit for a whole year, and I let them sit for a whole year. And you're right; it's a different situation when they've been sitting for a whole year. They are almost uh, unrecognizable pieces. They look like soil with slightly pieces of uh, wood chips in it, and it just looks so rich that I have to repeat this again. I have to. They only gave me a quarter of a truck because that's all that they grounded up on my property, but they could bring it from somewhere else and dump a whole load and let it just sit there. Let it sit. Don't touch it. And so I put the seed on the ground. And people say, well, what about the grass and everything that's there? No, I take my trimmer and I trim it all the way down as low as I can get it. I trim it down as low as I can get it. Trim it. Lay the seed on top. Once I lay that seed on top, I cover it with the wood chips, uh, no more than maybe an inch to a half an inch. I cover it. Then I water it in. And guess what happens? When the seeds come up, you'll see the grass coming above, uh, excuse me, the corn coming above the wood chips, and you know they took. Um, and you could do a number of things with the corn. Some people uh, mention about soaking them for so many hours and then sprinkle them on the ground and cover them with the wood chips and spreading it out nice and even, and then watering it in, and just and let nature do the rest. Um, I found that works so well because the seed will go through, connect to the ground. It's got a food source right there on top, which is the wood chips, and you're set. Um, Now you can, depending on your soil, you could do other things with it. I think that if you think for that your soil may be poor, but a lot of the nutrients that you need for your plants, the soil already has it, and people tend to overkill it and say, "Oh, I got to buy fertilizer." Why is that? Because they watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and they always say fertilizer or what brand name fertilizer. There's a guy that has a channel here, and people keep trying to steer you um, to his stores and saying, go buy this, go buy that, go buy this from him, go buy that, or I bought this from him. I bought so they're name dropping. Um, and my thing is this: a lot of what you need to grow what you want to grow is already on your property. I'm gonna say that again. A lot of what you want to grow and what you need is already on your property. I use the weeds, I use the grass, I use the branches when I trim my trees. I use all of that. That goes back, stacked behind the fruit trees, and it breaks down. And in a year and a half or 2 years, you can't even find the branches that were laid behind the trees because they done went back into the ground. Um, this year alone, I have 3 apple trees that I looked at today. I didn't look at all the apple trees today, just those 3, and they're full of blossoms. They're full of blossoms. And I looked at that and I said, "Now, wow, I'm amazed by that food forest permaculture. I spent all this time waiting on those trees to bloom. I knew I had the right trees because I bought them at a store that does a good job. In the past, I couldn't have said that because they'll sell you a pear and not know that you ordered an apple, but they'll sell you a pear, or they sell you a plum, where they said they're going to sell you a cherry tree. They had the order so mixed up. I bought 4 trees for them, waited 3 years. Check this out now, 3 years. When they grew up, I told them I wanted Granny Smith, Fuji, and a Honey Crisp. Do you know what those trees were when they finally started producing? They were all 6 of them. I could see one tree being a mistake, but all 6 after 3 years, they were crab apples. That's what they were. Every last one of them was crab apples. I felt so hurt and disappointed. I could not believe I waited 3 years and they were crab apples. Mind you, they were sweet, but they were crab apples. And I didn't understand because I looked at the trees, they were grafted and they were little twigs about 12 inches long, 13 inches long. That's what they were. And I said, wow, these cheap, these trees are cheap. This is a good price for fruit trees. All their fruit trees were $10. All of them. All of them were $10. And I purchased, I don't know how many of them, and I put them all in the ground. Now, let me tell you what they did get right. Out of hundreds of dollars worth of trees later, this is when I first started. And I had a lady friend tell me, she said, why don't you stop buying from them? Because you're wasting time and you're losing money because you're not getting what you're ordering. They're sending you the wrong trees. And I said, damn, she's right. I said, she's right. But I'm supposed to know this. And I didn't want to look at it because that was the truth. So another set of trees over there started growing. I thought I had uh, Burbank, some kind of plum called Burbank plum. Wasn't a Burbank plum that came up. These produced beautiful blossoms. They got up to around 5, 6 feet tall, and they had all these spikes on them, about that long. Spikes, thorns, if you will. And I said, wait a minute, what is this? And so I go up and I try to Google everything. And I Googled the plum that I asked for, which was a Burbank plum. And all the photos I've seen, none of them had thorns. None of them had thorns on them. And I realized they sent me the wrong trees. They sent me one tree that had one single root on the bottom of it that was about that long, on about one single root. And I called back. I said, listen, miss, This can't be right. She said, well, put it in the ground anyway and see what it does. I said, come on. And the tree was supposed to be a uh, Bartlett. I still have that tree today because it's the only one they got right. And they grew some big, beautiful, beautiful pears. And it does it every year. It blows. It produces pears. And that was a $10 tree. But I would never go to them again in life, even if they stayed open. Now they finally closed them down. They finally closed them down. They had the attorney general go in, bring them to court, and shut down the business because there was so many. When I finally started digging and doing some looking around, there was so many um, complaints from that company. Dead plants coming in the mail. That's when I got to poorly executed shipping, which they stayed in the mail so long. From the time they shipped them off to you, they stayed in there for 2.5, 3 weeks, drying up, dying in the mail. Then you finally get them, and you got a bunch of sticks that you paid $10 each for. And they were. This place was called Summerstone Nursery. Summerstone Nursery, and they had another sister company called USA Nursery. So when they shut down Summerstone, they went all over to USA Nursing Nursery, excuse me. $10 a tree, and they could not get it right. I bought from them for years. Every time you call it asking for a replacement, they would say, "Oh, well, we don't have it right now. If you wait till next year, we'll automatically send you reorder. We apologize." And that's how it went for years. Then I called up Stock Brothers. Like the friend of mine said, she said, "Please just try it." I said, "But them trees are $25 a piece." And she said, "If you get what you want, you actually save money." She was right. I called and I ordered. The tree came through the mail. It was big and burly and healthy. It was ready to grow. You could tell when you put the little scratch test, it was just perfectly green underneath uh, well, whatever the peel, when you peel it back a little bit, it was perfectly green. It had lots of roots on the base of it. It had what I want to say. It was delivered in a good amount of time, and when I got it, it was beautiful. I put it in the ground, and in days, within days, not weeks, days, it started leafing out. When it started leafing out, I said, "Oh my goodness!" I went a little crazy, and I called them up. Yeah, yeah, I need a plum. Yeah, I need a this kind of pear tree. What is this delicious y'all call it? They said, well, it's kind of like a cross between a Bartlett and some other pear. It's a really good pear. We sell a lot of them. People that order pear trees usually get this one because um, it's one of our favorite sellers. I said, okay, send it to me. Uh, what's this plum tree called? It's called a Burbank. Uh, no, excuse me, not a Burbank. Stanley. Stanley is considered the standard that everybody goes to when they want a plum tree for a home gardener. Stanley, because it just grows and it produces beautiful fruit, nice and firm, sweet. It's got all the characteristics that most people like about a plum. And I put it in the ground, had to move it one time, and I gotta tell you, it's doing fine. Never had any problem from it. It just took a long time to get up to where it would blossom. Because one year it produced, uh, and then it started dropping. It kept dropping its young plums. It kept dropping it, and I said, "Wonder why it's doing that?" A little bit more research, and it says sometimes a tree is so young, it's trying to produce, it'll drop it. It says it's normal. It happens. I said, okay, all right, okay. But now what it's doing this year is it blossomed out early. It's doing good. It looks like it's on its way to producing this year. But I've had the plant for about 4, maybe 5 years. And when I looked up the dates on when they usually uh, have a great evening, morning, Godland, and following her fellow Earthlings, save your seeds. Thank you very much, Food Followers, Permaculture. And I know some of you look at this channel. It's got a good channel. It's got a good channel. Um, but the thing about it is, you have to get as much information as you can and be mindful. A lot of the people on YouTube, some of them really don't know. You know, they're not experts. I think it's comical. Some of them talk like experts. Some of them know what they're talking about, and you can tell. But some of them, no, no, not they're not. Yeah, yeah, I'm back. My thing froze up, and I don't know why, but it froze up after only about 22 minutes. It froze up, but now it's rolling again, and I like this. I hope it's nothing wrong. No, it's nothing wrong with the computer. It was a service, so I'll keep an eye on that. Make sure that that's not going to become an issue. Um, but I got to tell you, apple trees will be more of what I'm going to add this year, and also I'm looking at. I don't want to add any more pears because I got 3 pear trees, and I'm not going to eat all that many pears. I got how many apple trees? Oh God, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I got 8 apple trees. And the reason why I want to put in more apple trees is because it's something about an apple here growing in Maryland. It's the climate for it. I got the what they call it, the cherry trees. I got them growing. They great, but the problem with them is that I had one that didn't do anything for like 5, 6 years. As soon as I started hacking away on that sucker with a chainsaw to bring it down from 23 feet tall, bring it down to about 5, 6 feet, uh, it had the audacity this year to start um, putting on all these blossoms. Tree knew it was under attack and said, "I better grow something because he about to cut me down." Because yeah, I felt like there was something that they sent me the wrong tree. It didn't cross well or whatever. But it did. It's out there now. It's full of blossoms. They all over this tree. Put up a beautiful display. Check out. Oh, okay, I will do that. Thank you. Yeah, because I told him about you last night. He was looking for a new channel to talk. Okay, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Um, I got to tell you, it's incredible. Um, and I'm just apples, man. Apples are sweet. They're good. Um, and I put the plums in, the Stanley plums, and then I got another plum called a Santa Rose. I lost one that I put in, but see, you got to remember some of these uh, some of the trees that I put in were given to me. There was a company that, excuse me, before they went out of business, Summertone Nursery, they sent me like 5 or 6 trees, and I said, "Oh my goodness, they misshipped these." And I tried to send it back to them. They said, "No, go ahead and keep them because it'll cost more to get them back to us than it would, if you just kept them." And so I took the plum that was, I mean, excuse me, the tree that was marked. Um, it was a Duchess pear, and I didn't know what to do with it. I had no room for it. I said, "Man, what am I gonna do with this thing here?" It had one single root on it about that long. The tree altogether was about this long, yeah, about like that. And I stuck it in the ground. I ain't had much faith in it because I said this thing has got one single root. Why would somebody send this in the mail? That's what I'm thinking. I stuck it in the ground anyway. That thing took off like a champ. I couldn't even believe it. It took off like a champ. Um, and excuse me, um, the one that had all the roots on it, which was the Bartlett, no, not Bartlett. It was called a Burbank plum. It died. It just died. I don't know why it died. I put it in a good location, um, and it just died. Now I got plum trees, pear trees, peaches, cherries. Um, I think I mentioned all of them. Yeah, but they're here and they're doing great, and I want to see them do better. But I bought a kit that will help me air layer some of the trees I have on my property, especially as I said earlier, especially that pink lady. That pink lady has to go on my property because it's only one tree, and I don't want to lose the genetics. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to air layer it, and then I'm going to put it on my property so that if anything happens to this one tree, I still got another one. If anything happened to that tree, I still got this one. And that's how I want to do it. I don't want to have one tree, like if something happened to it, that's it, start all over again. And these trees out here today, I'm going to go ahead and say it. They are expensive. They are expensive to me. To me, they're expensive. They are expensive. You go to any of the box stores, they are $69 and some change. You go to Stock Brothers, they they are expensive there as well because they're like $45, $54, and that doesn't include the shipping, and that's how that works. Um, and I got to tell you this: uh, the, the 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 one place I went to that was Stock no was Stock Brothers. Yeah, Stock Brothers. They had trees one time, and I don't see it no more though. They had them for. Do you have problems with birds and squirrels in Maryland? I'm gonna tell you about that in a second. But they were $6 for these trees. I was crazy that day. I should have bought more than one. $6. It said pink. It didn't call it Pink Lady because of copyright. They called it Pink something. Still the same tree. Um, and when they when the trees was sent to me, I had to pay a little bit for shipping, but still, it was like a little over $12 for the tree, and I should have bought two. But at any rate, the Pink Lady is an incredible, absolutely incredible apple. Perfect apple, if there is a such thing. It's on that same level as a Honey Crisp, as a Fuji. It's on that level. Now, do you have any problems with it? Yes, I do. Um, I used to see holes in my apples one year, and I realized it was birds doing that. It was birds pecking holes in them. Um, and birds actually will eat up all my cherries, and they'll wait till the cherries get sweet, and they can smell the sugar. And when it gets sweet, birds, if you leave them one day on the tree and you say, "Oh, that button tomorrow, I'm gonna pick these cherries," you'll come back, those cherries will be gone. They've done the same with grapes. I have the Thompson grapes. They have stripped, and I'm not talking about ate a couple grapes. They stripped it. And I know I could get bird netting, but when I did use the bird netting years ago, um, birds were dying in the netting, getting trapped in the netting. Some kind of way they would get behind the netting, and I'd go out there and it'd be this bird struggling, and he would also have a heart attack as you're trying to get him out of that bird netting. He would always do like that and just die. And I said, "Oh my goodness." I said, now, do I keep killing birds or do I protect this fruit? And I said, I got to come up with another way to do this. Yep. So, yes, squirrels and birds, yeah, that's everywhere you go. Something is going to eat some of your crop. And if you get a big influx of birds in the area, they can strip stuff. Um, and I mean strip it, where every year the bluebirds, I never got any of them. They would look at all the green bluebirds on the thing, and as soon as they turn blue, and a couple more days when they go from just no taste to sweet or perfect, the birds already got them while you're at work. You come back home, all of them gone. I mean, not one left. They can smell the sugar. They can smell the sugar, and that's something. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. This is the Morning Garden. Can't really call it because it's getting late, and I think I better call it and maybe put some plants in the pots tonight because this week gonna be a warm one, and you want to get these plants up in a situation where you can go out and get them planted. So this has been the Morning Garden. You take care and have a good evening.